The mother of Joshlin Smith has been convicted of kidnapping and trafficking her own daughter. If you've just tuned in, that's what we're focusing on. Kelly Smith and her two co-accused, Jacqueline Apollos and Stefano van Rijn, were today convicted in court. Joshlin was 6 years old at the time of her disappearance in Feb last year. She has still not been found. We're now joined by founding member and senior director of Women and Men Against Child Abuse, Miranda Friedman. Miranda, thank you for being with us. You say this is a landmark judgment. It's historic. Why?
Yeah. Well, as far as we're concerned, as WMACA is concerned, I mean, it may not be the only case, but it certainly is a case that has come to our attention, is that we don't know of any other case where you have a judgment of kidnapping and trafficking and you don't have a body, a cold or a warm body in this case. So for us, the fact that the judge put Joshlin in the center of this case really made the case all about her and decided that he was going to convict despite the fact that we do not have a live or a murdered child, really sent a very strong message, because trafficking and kidnapping both carry life sentences.
So the judge said the state proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Did the state perform well? Did everything just come together as well?
I think the fact that the state certainly proved that they were that there was trafficking and kidnapping, and the three accused were certainly they were the kidnappers and the traffickers. They were the ones who premeditatedly made the arrangements for the sale, whether it was for her wholesale for exploitation, body parts of hers for exploitation. They certainly did that part. Yeah. But what concerns us is that, you know, we have the female Sangoma identified by the 205, the victim who came forward, the witness who came forward in the 205. But what we're just saying is that where's an identikit? Because surely in this informal colored community, somebody could have seen a woman like her with a white polo. Certain things were identified, and for us, we felt that this should be widespread to all the communities in the area, and that somebody may have seen the child. We know that is how we've resolved some of the murder trials that we've worked on, and that is because somebody identified, for instance, someone carrying or holding the hand of a child past a certain area, and that's how the child was found. Yeah. So I think we would really like to see a real step up as far as who is this person, who does she deal with, because then we will start getting to the fact that if we had a body, we would be able to be a lot closer to whoever committed the rest of the transaction. We know who started the transaction. We need to find out now what happened. We know in all the murder cases the murdered children cases we work with, that it is generally close to home. That is, these people would have known the people that they are going to transact with. And we also know that it's somewhere along the line, somebody would admit to something, and we'd slowly get to where she is. It's very unlikely, to be very honest. If we look at kidnapping and trafficking of children, we think back to the Van Rijn children, and the perpetrators shot themselves, so we could never have an answer. It's very difficult after this length of time. I personally believe that it's almost impossible that Joshlin is still alive, because the people who have done the second part of the transaction, that's either bought her as a whole to be exploited sexually, or have bought her for body parts because she had such unique looks, that they would have seen that the high profile of this case would have made their capture a real reality. And we truly believe as WMACA that she's probably not alive anymore.
Knowing that, has it been unnerving? I know you've seen a lot, Miranda. Has it been unnerving to watch her mother, Kelly Smith, found guilty, but there's been no emotion, let alone remorse in court?
You know, I have to say this to you, Francis. It shocks us every time. We must have seen maybe just this year 5 or 6 similar cases, when I mean not always trafficking and kidnapping involved, but certainly inflicting a lot of harm that eventually resulted in the child's death. And I have to tell you that there's almost anger at being caught. There's not anger or remorse or upset about the child being dead. The fact that they no longer have that baby that they carried for 9 months. For us, this is almost throwaway children that we have in South Africa. We have these mothers and fathers, but just in this year alone, the amount of women that have participated directly in the killing of their children, or in behavior that resulted or allowed people access to their children that then killed their children is alarming. And we've seen stoicness, we've seen anger at the people, the prosecutors, our organization, anyone who has helped to make sure that they are now convicted. And I guess that is the only thing we've seen, is that there has been some consistency in the courts in actually ensuring that mothers who in any way participate or would be an accessory, for instance, Joshlin's mother in this case would not be the murderer, but she would be an accessory to murder had her body been found, that they are getting life sentences because they have directly participated in this. So it's a real phenomena that we have to understand. It's pathology we have to try and understand as to what is that distance that this mother brings this child, this gift into life, this precious child, Joshlin, who should be playing today or should be having school break or whatever it is, was premeditatedly sold and almost to slaughter because her mother had no idea or had an idea. And the fact that even at this stage, knowing that she's going to get, there's 25 years, so life sentence on both charges. They're both seen as enormously seriously crimes in our country. So she is going to face a life sentence. That is for sure. There's no extenuating circumstances. She knowingly, premeditatedly made the arrangement for a child to be at a place at 2 p.m., to be collected, to go to her, whatever, to be exploited, to be killed, to whatever was going to happen. So there's so the fact that she has not taken the opportunity as a 205 witness to say the truth of what happened, or to even give her child the dignity of now in death, or in a severe state of trauma, if she is by any chance still alive, is to let her rest in peace. She's not even letting her daughter rest in peace. It is so, and for me, that's so monstrous. And then the second monstrous part for me is that there are people out there, a minimum of 2 people. Yeah. The Sangoma, who was the middleman or middlewoman who was in this trade, and the person that ordered her, or people that ordered her, that wanted her for the reasons we don't know. Were they sexual? Were they medical? Were they? We have no idea. So
Miranda, does the drug abuse help you make sense of it? Have you seen that a lot? And finally, have you seen women who talk after they go to prison? That would be one of the hopes, right? To get to the truth.
Yes. I have to say that talking after they have been convicted has never happened with any of our cases. In fact, one of the mothers went on appeal because she felt, she'd got too much of a harsh sentence, but was actually told that her sentence would probably be extended because of the heinousness of her crime. So, no, we haven't. And just, Francis, repeat the first part of the question.
Does the drug abuse, because we were highlighting that it's not only men, women are perpetrators here. Does the drug abuse help you make sense of it?
Well, I mean, we talked, yourself and I, on baby Riley. We've had baby L, we've had baby M, we've had a number of cases this year where drugs have been actively used by both partners, but the mothers have chosen, and the mothers, and they have chosen to remain in violent relationships. Now, I'm talking about mothers who had opportunities to with extended families where they could have handed their children. If they didn't want to leave, for whatever reason, that they were tied in this emotional relationship, that they did not say to their extended mothers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, take my child because I don't think my child is going to make our relationship. Family members who know that young and even up to middle age, we've dealt with women from 18 to recently early 30s, who have been actively taking drugs, that do not intervene and get welfare and the police involved in what is happening to their children, and to extended families who we've seen in court who could see children were getting thinner, children were malnourished, children had bruises, children had burn marks, children were scared, children were frightened of what was happening at home, and have not intervened. Quite frankly, Francis, should be held just as accountable. And more, we are going to go in that direction of, and including social workers that do not remove children when things are reported to them, and children's courts who neither act to intervene and remove these children and rather look at family reunification. I'm going to say something very strongly today, and I believe the family reunification is a big problem currently in South Africa. We need to see who are we reunifying our children to, because we've had a child die because they were sent back into a home with drug abuse. It is a massive problem. It affects mothers and fathers.
Sure. It's just horrific. Thank you. And that's a discussion for the future. The Senior Director of Women and Men Against Child Abuse, Miranda Friedman, reacting to that judgment today.